Good afternoon. Today is the 4th of February and it's the day when the figures for the previous month's best-selling cars have been published. So it's time for us to look at the top 10 best-selling cars in the UK for January 2022. Now, fortunately, we're not in a national lockdown as we were in January 2021. So most of the figures do show a positive change. However, there are a couple of exceptions to this rule and we will go through them. When I say sales, I do actually mean registrations, although sales is much easier for me to say, which is why we tend to use that term when doing these monthly updates, which we've done now for an awfully long time. I think it's well over 3 years actually we've been doing this on the channel. And percentage change overall, because we're not in a lockdown anymore, which we were last January, is 27.5% increase. That is across all sectors, the private, business and the fleet sectors. The fleet sector is down very slightly for reasons I can't quite understand. But the market share for that has actually changed significantly as well. So the market share for fleet sales last January was 56.5%. It's now 44.2%. It's an overall change only down by 0.4%, but it means that actually the private sector sales are much higher. They're in fact 64% up. They were about 38,000 and now they're 62,000. The market share has gone from 42% to 54%. The business sector is very, very small indeed in this country. It's not really changed. It's gone from 1.4% of the market to 1.7%. However, the sales themselves have increased by 53% from about 1,300 to about 2,000. So if we look now at the breakdown by fuel type, we'll see, the long-standing trends are still here. There's a reason why we call diesel forbidden fuel, because the change has been remarkable over the last few years as to how few new cars are now sold with these engines. The market share last January was 12.3%. It's now 5.2%. It's down overall by about 46%, which is absolutely and utterly insane. The number of sales is down from about 11,000 to 6,000. I don't really need to say any more, do I? We just don't have an appetite for them anymore in this country, due to all kinds of things that I haven't got time to go into now, and have gone into so many times on the channel before that you wouldn't believe. Right from the first video we actually made in September 2018. Petrol has declined. Again, that's not really surprising. It's not a dramatic decline in one sense, because although percentage change is about 15% up, that's because the market share has sort of altered and the overall number of cars has increased. So the market share has gone down from 50% to 48%. The number of cars overall has increased, but not as much as other types of fuel. So that's why there's a 15% change in the raw numbers, but a decrease in the market share. So it was about 45,000 last January, and now it's 51,500. Mild hybrid forbidden fuel hasn't really changed very much. I just think these cars are now starting to fall out of fashion quite rapidly. There are numerous models available with these engines, such as I think the larger Kias used to have these. I'm not sure if they do now. Some of the Volkswagen Group models do have them, but they're not a very big sector of the market, really. The market share was 7%, it's now 5%. Percentage change is 7.9%. It's gone from about 6,200 cars to 5,700. So anything with a forbidden fuel engine, whether it be assisted by a mild hybrid system or just on its own, is the only sector at the moment in entire market that is in decline. Everything else is increasing. Mild hybrid petrol, this is, fitted to so many types of car now. The ones I always remember are pretty much Suzuki's, because I think absolutely all their models now are mild hybrid petrols, with the exception of the Across, which is a rebadged Toyota RAV4 plug-in hybrid. All the rest of them are mild hybrid petrols. This has gone from about 10% last January to 13% last month. Percentage change actually has been quite dramatic. It's about 70%, because if you look at the raw figures of data, it's gone from about 9,000 to about 15,000 cars sold. Battery electric vehicles, no surprises here. The change is massive. All these initiatives, although they keep being scrapped by the government for increasingly, don't seem to have affected very much, really. People just keep buying the thing because they know we're running out of time before 2030, when looks like all cars will have to either be battery electric or some form of plug-in hybrid that they haven't specified. So the market share was 7%, it's now 12.5%. The percentage change actually is more dramatic than that. It's 131% increase. It's gone from about 6,000 cars sold last January to about 14,500 cars sold last month. Plug-in hybrids, again, a market segment that's rapidly increasing. This is everything now from MG8 plug-in hybrid, Seat Leon plug-in hybrid, Toyota RAV4 plug-in hybrid. There's absolutely loads of them now. Market share was again about 7%. It's now not quite as high as the battery electric cars, but it is now 8%. The increase has been about 47%, and it's gone from about 6,000 cars sold last January to about 9,000 cars sold. Hybrid electric cars started by the Honda Insight and the Toyota Prius around 20 years ago now. Virtually every manufacturer's got a hybrid now. We're talking standard hybrids now rather than the mild hybrids or plug-in hybrids. Market share was about 7.5%. It's now 11%. But it's actually dropped below battery electric cars for the first time, which is interesting. Percentage change is actually still about, free mathematics, about 98% increase. It's gone from about 6,800 cars to about 13,500, so that makes sense. Let's now look at the top 10 best sellers. You see they are the same for the year to date as they are for the month, because we've only had 1 month of 2022 so far. Again, the Ford Fiesta is nowhere on this chart at all, and neither is the Tesla Model 3. The reason for this is, as I keep saying, Tesla don't have a traditional dealer network. They tend to actually own all the outlets themselves directly. So you can go to one of their outlets and you can test drive a Tesla and everything like that and go and see one. But in terms of the sort of ordering and things like that, it's not a franchise that's running the operation. It's Tesla UK's arm itself. So they all come on a boat from the United States of America, and I think they might be made in other places now, but definitely United States of America, and they all get registered in one go when the shipment comes in. And this can be enough to actually completely change the figures for the average month in this country. And actually, because the boatload of Teslas came in December last year, that actually meant that was the second best selling car overall in this country, regardless of fuel type, and also the best selling car for the month. It's nowhere to be seen in this January list whatsoever. In fact, the car that's at the top is one I haven't seen in the chart this high for, I think, ever. It's the Kia Sportage. The new model's just come out. I imagine this will be a lot of dealers registering the new model, which starts at something crazy like £28,000 now. Isn't that mad? About 3,500 cars sold. Next is the Ford Puma, 2,600. Again, a perennial bestseller over here. We'll see what happens to the Corsa in a second. Next is the Kia Niro. Now, this is interesting because the Kia Niro is one of the only cars that's available in all three of the major powertrain options now in terms of electrification. The basic one is the hybrid, standard hybrid that I drove in September last year, actually, on the channel. Then there's the plug-in hybrid, and then there's the full electric e-Niro. It doesn't tell me here what the breakdown of the sort of power sources is, or power types, but I'd be interested to know about that. The Niro is going to be replaced quite soon, so I just find it interesting. Next is the Mini. That's the Mini Patch, some people call it. I think it's called the F55, F56. Fifth is the Corsa. So Niro was on 2,400, Mini about 2,300, and Corsa also in fifth position about 2,300, or slightly below the Mini. The Corsa, of course, available in forbidden fuel, petrol, and fully electric versions. Next is the Hyundai Tucson. Again, a very similar car to the Sportage on the same platform, and quite popular these days, actually. Next is the Mokka. The new Mokka is very different from the old one. Both of these, 6th and 7th position, about 2,200 cars sold. So it's quite close in the middle. Next is the Ford Focus. Used to be near the top of the list, but now it's in 8th position, about 1,800. Just outside the Volkswagen T-Roc, another 1,800, and 10th is the Corolla. I've not seen the Corolla in the top 10 for a while. It's a very, very good car, and the Sport Tourer Estate is actually the best-selling, what's called a D-segment estate car in this country. So that's not perhaps a surprise. You see them all over London as Uber taxis, although increasingly the MG5 EV is kind of coming in now as well. Now we get to my favourite bit. We look at the different sales figures for the brands as a whole last month. We will see here how many cars they sold last month, how many cars they sold last January, what their market share is, and what the percentage change is. So we start with Abarth. Tiny sales figures, even worse than last year. Yeah, I don't know what you want to say about this. They've only effectively got one model. There's all variations on the Abarth 595 and 695. Still powered by a variation of the old Fire engine, which came out back in 1985. Very good engine, you know, very, very reliable these days. And for 1.4, it actually produces a lot of power, up to sort of, I think it's 180 horsepower is the top version. I could be wrong about that. I'm not much of an expert on these. Somebody like Amber from the Driven 24/7 channel will know this a lot more about this than me. But yes, anyway, I'm not going to talk about detail analysis of our models. We'll talk about sales figures. Percentage change for them is minus 20%. The market share was 0.07. It's now 0.04. 61 cars sold last January. Last month, 49. So not great start. Alfa Romeo, again, quite a small brand in this country. They're actually smaller than SsangYong now, if you can believe that. They're smaller than SsangYong. SsangYong is one of the rarest brands on the roads in this country. I know this because I own one. So a little bit of an increase, though, about 17%. The market share remains the same at 0.09. 84 cars last year, 98 last month. Alpine, very strange. They sold 5 cars in January 2021. They've now sold 30, so it's a 500% increase. That's probably the most we can have of all of them. Bentley, an increase. This is a common trend, actually. Virtually everybody's up. Bentley, about 51% increase, and their market share has actually increased from 0.1 to 0.12. 89 cars sold versus 134. I almost missed out Audi. Audi, one of the biggest selling brands in this country now. 30% increase. Their market share was 7.29. It's now 7.44. It's gone from 6,500 cars to about 9,000. BMW, very similar figures to Audi. No surprise there at all, really, although slightly less. They have had a 20% increase. Their market share has gone from 7.76 to 7.28. So Audi are outselling them a little bit now. They sold about 7,000 cars last January. Last month, about 8,500. Citroën, an increase of about 12%. Market share has gone from 1.6 to 1.43 because of the general upturn in the market of about 28%. So they sold about 1,500 cars last January, and last month about 1,700. Cupra, a massive increase in their sales, although they're not a big brand by any means, but their market share has gone from 0.24 to 0.57. The increase is 207%, and the number of cars sold has gone from 213 to 654. Dacia, a big increase. They've got some very good models, actually. Dacia, I drove a Sandero Stepway on the channel last September, which was a really, really good car, to be honest. They're really good. The market share has gone from 0.92 to 1.6. The number of cars sold has gone from about 800 to about 1,900, so more than double their sales, which is really good. DS, a brand which I was a bit concerned about last year, to be honest, because their sales were so tiny, but we've gone from 0.12% of the market to 0.27. It's a 188% increase. The number of cars has gone from like about 100 to about 300, so very good. Fiat, which again is a brand I have been concerned about quite recently. I don't know when the last new model sort of was, apart from the 500 electric. Not talking about the faces of Tipo, which is what a lot of you want to talk about, but I haven't driven one of those yet. I really want to actually drive a facelifted Tipo. Might be able to do it later this year, but a huge increase, 222%. Their market share has gone from 0.46 to 1.15. Number of cars sold has gone from 400 to 1,300. Very good. Ford, not good. Not good at all. They've been outsold by a lot of people. Not quite Mercedes-Benz. That's not as close. Toyota have outsold them. Volkswagen have outsold them. Kia have most certainly outsold them, and so have Audi and BMW. They used to be the nation's favourite brand, and they're definitely not anymore, unfortunately. Big supply problems with them at the moment, and the Fiesta's just non-existent now, really. It's out of the top 10, has been for a long time. 14% decrease. Their market share last January was 9.7%. It's now 6.5%. And the number of cars sold has gone from 8,700 to 7,500. Considering we had a lockdown last time, is not very good. I'm not talking about the quality of their cars, I'm just talking about the figures. Honda, a good increase, 162%. They were about 1% of the market last January. They're now 2.2%. Their car sales have gone from 1,000 to 2,500, so really, really good. But massively outsold now by someone like Hyundai, who have had an 81% increase. They've gone from 3.4% of the market to just under 5%. Number of cars sold has gone from about 3,000 to 5,600. Jaguar, not good. 28% decrease. The number of cars sold has gone from 900 to 700. They had 1% of the market share, now they've got about 0.6. Jeep, another FCA or Stellantis brand that's doing well, despite the fact I'm not sure when they last released a new model, actually, Jeep. You tell me in the comment section. 19% increase, it's very good, but below the average. Was 0.18% of the market, now 0.17. That explains why, even though the sales are up, the market share has decreased. 165 cars sold last January. Last month, 196. Kia, absolutely and utterly annihilated everybody last month. Their market share increase is not actually as dramatic as you'd think. It's about the number of sales is about 68% up, but it doesn't sound that dramatic. But just look at the number of cars sold. It's gone from 6,200 to 10,500, and the market share's gone from 7% to 9%. Absolutely and utterly incredible. Kias are really, really good, but I've been saying this for a long time. But clearly, people have woken up to this idea, and for once, we've gone past the premium German brands, which outsell most of the others. So they're not really premium brands, are they? So that's interesting. We do prefer Kias over Hyundais in this country for some reason. It's probably because of the warranty. Land Rover, like Jaguar, is down a bit, 22% down as a matter of fact. Their market share was 4% and now it's 2.5%. Number of cars sold has gone from 3,600 to 2,800. Lexus, another brand which is actually rising as well, 37% increase, was 0.7% in the market, now 0.75. Number of cars sold has gone from 626 to 858. Maserati, figures are still really low. 34% increase, nevertheless, that's good. Number of cars sold has gone from 50 to 67, and they remain at 0.06% of the market. Mazda, or Matsuda, as I like to call them, they have done quite well. 175% increase. Was 748 cars sold last January, and now it's 2,000. Market share has gone from 0.83 to 1.78. However, there's a bit of a problem. We'll come to that in a little while. Mercedes-Benz, unlike Audi and BMW, their figures have significantly decreased. It's actually a 4% decrease. So I don't know if they've got supply problems or something. Who knows? I'm really not sure. They've gone from 6,600 cars sold to 6,400. Their market share, because of the overall buoyancy of the market at the moment, comparatively speaking, market share has gone from 7.3 to 5.5. MG, what a surprise, outsold Mazda again, and Seat, and Skoda, and Honda, and Suzuki. Crazy. 160% approximately increase. Their market share has gone from 1.5 to 3%. They outsold Mini as well. So MG sold about 1,400 cars last January. They actually sold 3,600 cars last month. Mini, the figures are actually quite similar to MG, but just a little bit down. Their market share has gone from 1.85% to 3%. It's about 107% increase. From 1,700 cars to 3,500, so just under MG. Nissan, still a very popular brand over here, I think really because they make a lot of cars up in the northeast. But still not a great month for them in some sense. 6% decrease from 5.1% to the market to 3.8. Number of cars sold, not that down, but you know, even with market that's up, it does show 4,600 cars to 4,400. Peugeot, very similar to Nissan actually for some reason, but a 38% increase. 3.2% of the market has gone to 3.5, and 2,900 cars has gone to 4,000. Polestar have actually decreased slightly. They've sold almost the same number of cars, and the market share has gone right down to about 0.28, which is about a 2.5% decrease. Porsche, a good month for Porsche. 43% up, was 1% of the market, now 1.14. 900 cars sold versus 1,300. Renault, yeah, a good month, but they're not as strong a brand in this country as they used to be, actually, unfortunately. 51% increase, 1.75% of the market, now 2%, was 1,600 approximately, now 2,400. Seat, a decrease sadly for Seat. I don't really know why, particularly. That 12%, which is quite significant, was about 2.7% of the market, now 1.9%, and the number of cars sold has gone from 2,500 to 2,200. Skoda, an increase, but not in comparison to the market, so it's about 4%. Was 3.4% of the market, now 2.8%, and about 3,100 cars sold as opposed to 3,200, but still, because the market's up by 28%, it's not quite keeping pace with the rest of them. Smart I tend to ignore because the sales are really tiny at the moment. SsangYong, this is where it gets interesting. SsangYong sold 120 cars last month. Now, you might think that is ridiculous, and it is in a sense. It's very small, but it's actually a 155% increase, because they only sold 47 cars in January 2021, and their market share has gone from 0.05 to 0.1. Subaru, again, have had a very big increase, about 200%. They've gone from 0.03% to 0.08, and 30 cars to 90 cars, so it's a big increase. Suzuki, again, a big increase, but quite a small brand in this country at the moment for some reason. I don't really understand why. They make some really good cars. 0.5% of the market to 0.8%. It's a 111% increase, and that is 460 to about 970. Toyota, we like our Toyotas in this country almost as much as we like our Volkswagens, it seems. 79% increase approximately, 5% of the market to 7% of the market, 4,500 cars sold versus 8,000 last month. Vauxhall, an increase, but not as dramatic a one as usual. Maybe that explains why, the course is not actually at the top like it normally is. 17% increase was 6.2% of the market, now 5.7%, and about 6,500 cars sold. Volkswagen, traditionally a very strong brand in this country, but beaten by Kia this month. 12% increase, 8.4% of the market, 7.4% of the market. Although the number of cars sold actually increased from 7,600 to 8,500. Volvo, the last brand on the list, 4.5% of the market share, has gone from about 3,200 cars to 3,300 cars, but the market share has actually decreased from 3.5 to 2.9 because the growth of Volvo has not kept pace with the rest of the market. Tesla is on this chart of other imports, and it's negligible, about 150 cars, so we'll expect a shipment of those next month probably. There we are, viewers, about 115,000 cars sold and a 28% increase. So reasonably good news, but I think those figures are probably still some considerable way down on where they would have been a few years ago before all this kind of coronavirus stuff happened. So there we are. That was the top 10 best-selling cars of January 2022. Thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Like this video, leave a comment below. You can join the channel if you like, and there's a social event in Hampshire happening, and I've put the details, I think, at some point on the screen to inform you how to get in touch with me to book a place. Thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching.